Hello everyone and welcome back. So today I'm going to do math and science anticipated reads. This is going to be a little bit of like a rapid fire type thing because I don't know a whole lot about these books. I've not read them yet. Also, I don't want to bore anyone. So a little bit of a rapid fire. These books are specifically ones on my physical TBR, and so a lot of these all of these I bought used. A lot of them I actually got for 50 cents from a library sale, and so I got some pretty good ones, but it's gonna be a little bit of a rapid fire. Editor Sami here, so I said rapid fire. That did not happen. I ended up ranting about some of these books, so I say rapid fire. Keep in mind this is actually not a rapid fire, and just me talking about the books that I have on my physical TBR. So we got shortcuts. This is science. So this goes through different science, it has a whole list of different concepts that it goes through, and it's like 2 pages per concept, and there's like a page with information and then there's an image. And so I love books that have images in them, so I'm really excited for this one. It also has a lot of colors in it too, so this is going to be an easier, lighter read, which is always nice. And then I also have, we cannot have this list without Isaac Newton, specifically his Principia, and this one has commentary by Stephen Hawking, which I didn't even know. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. It seems very physicsy, which, makes sense for Isaac Newton. There's also a lot of angles. So geometry and physics, which when I think of geometry, I basically just think of physics because geometry and physics are very, very much work together. And so this is a big one, but he is known for his Principia, where he just talks about everything science, a lot of physics and angles, I would say specifically. And then similar to that, we have Newton's Gift, which is by David Berlinski, and that's a very Polish name. This one, the author talks about Newton and how, I think basically he just talks about how smart he was, and he also talks about the Principia in this book, so that's going to be interesting. Maybe I can read one and then read the other, or yeah. So this one talks about Newton. This is the first math fiction, maybe it's nonfiction, I would say it's fiction, but the first math fiction that I found, which is Math Girls, and basically I think it's people like high schoolers who just talk about math, specifically sequences. There's a lot of sequence stuff in here, and when I think of sequences, I also think of Calculus 1, so there's a lot of that in here. I'm a little bit disappointed flipping through. This seems a lot more math heavy than I wanted, which, I mean, I like math, but I was hoping for more of a story rather than just teaching, and there's a lot of like equations and stuff in here, which is always nice, but it's more knowledge heavy than I wanted. I wanted just kind of like a story of people talking about math, but that's okay. Well, I will probably still really enjoy this, and I am so excited for the Manga Guide 2 series. This one is specifically biochemistry. I have read a handful of these. If you don't know what the Manga Guide 2 series is, it's like each book is a different college course or like college topic, and it's like reading a textbook except for it's manga. I would say more comic because you read it left to right. So it's like a very Americanized manga. So they're very knowledge heavy, very, very knowledge heavy, and they're not easy reads. But it's fun because there's a little bit of a storyline going on as you're learning. So that's really cool. I am in the middle of reading the cryptography one. I've been in the middle of reading this for months just because I just keep forgetting that I'm in the middle of this. I'm towards the end, but this one is one of the ones that you have to have higher math experience before reading it because it's very adjacent to abstract algebra. If you know a little bit of computer science, you might be able to understand some of that, but it's more so for you need a good solid mathematical background for that one specifically. This one, like, I know the basics of biology and chemistry because I've taken those classes, but I don't know, I'm excited to read this one. I have a bunch of other books in that series too that I am excited to read. So excited for this. This was 50 cents for this chunker. Look at this big boy. This is the Handbook of Applied Mathematics. And so there's a lot of like examples and there's some figures in here. I was flipping through and it doesn't lack mathematical background, which a lot of math nonfiction does, but this one does not seem to sacrifice clarity for sophistication. So it isn't. I've found with math and I would say science nonfiction too, the author wants to show off how much they know, and so a lot of times they don't remember their audience, or not that they don't remember their audience, but they want to sound smart, and so they sacrifice clarity for sophistication. So, but this one doesn't seem to do that. Like, obviously it's going to be people who know math and are interested in math reading it, but it's still important to have that mathematical context so we know what we're talking about. So we just have a few more. This one I got a while ago because I went through an astronomy phase, as we all do. This is The Grand Design by Stephen Hawking. I honestly don't know how much I'm interested in this anymore. This was one of the ones, I think I got this like through a free book credit on Thrift Books, so if I don't like it, it's not a huge deal, but I'm not really into astronomy as much as I once was. But it seems to, just flipping through it, talk about waves and gravity and how it relates to like outer space. Like taking waves on Earth and talking about how it applies to, space and all that. I am not hugely well versed on astronomy, I'll be honest. I know the basics of a lot of other subjects, but not really astronomy. My spatial reasoning is not very good. Math Tricks by, I'm not going to pronounce the name, but this is 50 Math Tricks. This is fun. I work with students, and so this is going to be, I can read this and use this when I'm teaching them. Oh my gosh. But it has a lot of colors and talks about tricks involving like division and percents and helping you memorize basic math facts, essentially, and it's done in a really cute, like, easy to understand, like, there's a lot of colors and there's like examples and all that. So, and then lastly, I can't have this without Albert Einstein. I am very intrigued by this one. This is Ideas and Opinions. I am so intrigued by this one because in school we learn about his opinions on math and science, but this one talks about Albert Einstein talks about his opinions on the world around him, like politics and morals and philosophy, stuff like that. I'm sure it talks about a whole bunch of things. Economics, government. So you don't learn that stuff in school. So I'm so fascinated to read that and see just how he thought about the world. That'd be so intriguing. When I will get to these books, I do not know, because I am consuming so much knowledge being in college already. So I don't know when I'll actually get to these books, but for sure I want to start reading some of these in the summertime, These are not books that you read in one sitting at all. It's something you read over a span of time, just like any nonfiction. But these ones specifically, it's very much going to be one chapter at a time. But I will catch you in another one.